Well, tariffs and inflation, two of your top DC daily headlines for June 11. The 90-day hold on super high tariffs between the United States and China will stay on pause for now. On Tuesday, both countries agreed to an outline of a new trade deal. Now, tariffs are still high, 30% on China, 10% on the United States, both down from over 100% each. Now, President Trump and Xi Jinping still need to sign this deal, but Wall Street encouraged by the news with all three major indices up in overnight trading. Are President Trump's massive worldwide tariffs even legal? Well, we still don't know, but a federal appeals court ruled on Monday that tariffs can stay in place as the challenges work their way through the courts. This overrides a U.S. trade court ruling that President Trump's tariffs are illegal because the Constitution puts Congress in charge of commerce, not the president. The appeals court scheduled to hear arguments on July 31, meaning the tariffs will stay in place for at least 2 more months. Well, how have the tariffs impacted inflation? We'll get our first look at the impacts with this morning's CPI report. It is the first full month report since President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs rolled out in April. The CPI, or Consumer Price Index, tracks how much we pay for several everyday items. Overall, the report is expected to show moderate price increases. Don't count on FEMA after hurricane, flooding, wildfires, or tornadoes. President Trump plans to shut down FEMA after this year's hurricane season, saying that states should be responsible for their own disaster recovery. The president says that FEMA is ineffective and unnecessary, but emergency managers say that local level recovery cannot replace federal disaster help.
Well, the feds are warning about scammers calling people and impersonating Border Patrol agents to get money and personal information. Victims say the callers claim a shipment of drugs with their name and address was intercepted, and they are threatening to send police officers if they don't comply. Officials say if you get this kind of call, hang up, don't send money, and don't trust caller ID either. Look for the number for Customs and Border Protection and call them to verify. Senators have introduced a bipartisan bill to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Several states have already raised the minimum, but many, including Texas, are still at the federal $7.25. It hasn't been raised since 2009. Paramount Global is letting go more than 3% of its U.S.-based staff, blaming dwindling TV subscriptions. And it's not the only company cutting back here. The number of job cuts jumped 80% in the first 5 months of this year compared to last. The retail sector took a big hit due to closures at stores like Joann Fabrics and Macy's. Analysts say federal job cuts and nonprofits were also a big contributor to these numbers.